this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well today. In this short lesson, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about 2-5-1s. And we need to start at the beginning, at a very basic major scale. I'm going to do C major. That's got 7 different notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and on each one of those notes, we can build an arpeggio. Musicians number them using a Roman numeral system, uppercase for major, lowercase for minor. Let's do that. We have a major 2-5-1 and a minor 2-5-1. Let's start with a major. Now it's actually pretty simple. You just look at the numerals here, and a 2-5-1 is just the 2, the 5 going to the 1. The 2 in this case is D minor 7, so we're in the key of C. So you would say this is a 2-5-1 in the key of C major. There are 12 keys in music, and jazz especially uses 2-5-1s in the same song from different keys, so that's what you need to know. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail later. But 2-5-1 in the key of C, we've got D minor 7, and then you jump to the 5. That's a G7 or G dominant 7. Notice that's the only place in this sequence where that particular quality of chord happens. It has a very strong pull back to the 1, which is C major 7. You can download the 2 backing tracks, one for major 2-5-1, one for minor 2-5-1. You can download those below and practice this kind of thing, okay? So we can use that information, the fact that we have these arpeggios, chord tones, to make up a walking bass line. 2-5-1s occur in all kinds of music, but it's particularly prevalent in jazz, and I think most people's questions relate to its use in jazz. It is important to also note that you have chord tones, but you have scale tones as well. So the 2 chord comes, if you like, from the D Dorian mode. The second mode of a major scale is a Dorian. So both those ideas can work in your lines. Over the 5 chord, the dominant chord, it's Mixolydian, G to G. We're basically going the original key, C, which is just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and playing those notes just starting on either D, if it's the 2, or G if it's the 5, okay? And that gives you loads of great ideas for lines. If we just descend actually a Dorian mode, and now a Mixolydian mode, as a 2-5-1, right? Add in a little bit of swing rhythm and you start to sound musical. And don't make things so predictable. Jumped around a little bit there. Use chromatic notes. That's notes outside of the key. You can actually approach whatever chord you're going to a half step or semitone above or below. It sounds quite cool. So that's a 2-5-1. That's a major 2-5-1. It really comes down to knowing about harmony and the fact that a scale gives you a set of chords. And then if you select different chords from the order, you get different chord progressions. This works for any style of music. If you remove the 7ths, you'll sound less jazzy. So if I do a 2-5-1, I don't know, playing like really simple chords. That sounds less jazz now. It's still a 2-5-1, okay? And you will find these ideas, using chord progressions all over the place. Let's move on to the other type of 2-5-1 that you often see in jazz, and that's a minor 2-5-1. If you find the 6th note of a major scale, you will find the relative minor. So that's A. A is the 6th note of C. Play the same notes, i.e. no sharps, no flats, and you get a natural minor scale. that's said to be related. So C major, A natural minor, they are related. And this has its own set of chords, which are exactly the same as the ones I showed you before, except instead of starting on C, they start on A, like this. And now you get a different 2-5-1. The 2 is a B minor 7 flat 5 in this case. The 5 starts on E. Now remember that in a major 2-5-1, the 5 was a dominant chord just on its own, the 7 on its own. And that type of chord has a very strong sort of resolution back to the 1. E minor 7 doesn't have that. So what a minor 2-5-1 does is it borrows a dominant chord from another key. So it borrows a dominant chord from not an A natural minor scale, but an A harmonic minor scale. So we have this sort of... If it were just E minor 7, it doesn't have a strong enough pull. That is the dominant, that does. So that's a minor 2-5-1 is where you have a minor 7 flat 5 going to a dominant, going to a minor. Now here is where it gets slightly more confusing because the modes that or the scale notes that you can play, that's B Locrian, that fits to A natural minor. We need the mode from the harmonic minor scale to fit over this one. Phrygian Dominant. If you know A minor, harmonic minor, it's exactly the same as a natural minor with the 7th note upper fret. So you just play that, starting from an E, and you've got the note that you could use if you do a walking bass line. Sounds a bit like this. Before giving you one good way to practice this, it's worth saying that you really need to find out where this happens in real music. And I've done a couple of jazz lessons recently, Fly Me to the Moon, Autumn Leaves I talk about, and they have 2-5-1s contained within those songs. So go and check those videos out and you'll see how this works in action. But here's one way you can practice this. You can do 2-5-1s just moving down a tone each time. So you can do the mode, scale sort of approach, the arpeggio approach, or both. So let's start with arpeggio. So D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Nothing too fancy or musical, just doing that. Then I'm going to start a 2-5-1 from there. So C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7. Then from there, or you can do the mode thing. Okay, now from there, 2-5-1. That's quite a nice exercise, just going up the modes, 2-5-1, going down a tone each time. Hopefully now you'll be able to recognize how to see a 2-5-1 if you see a chart. If you see a minor 7 going up a 4th to a dominant, going down a 5th to a major 7th in the exact same pattern that you've seen in this lesson, you've got a major 2-5-1. And then when you have the similar situation, but this time minor 7 flat 5 to dominant to minor, you've got a minor 2-5-1, and you will be able to recognize it visually on a chart, but also you'll be able to hear this, because this sort of movement in jazz is extremely common. I hope that video helped you out. If it did, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. That really, really helps. If you have any questions whatsoever, do let me know. Other than that, have a really good day. Thanks for watching.